Good morning, dear viewers. Welcome to the first episode of Pilgrims of Hope, a special program in preparation for the Jubilee Year 2025. Today's topic is the essence of hope. We would like to apologize to our listeners of Radio Maria Yatsani Voice who won't be able to air this program today due to some technical faults. But as soon as the technical fault is worked on, we'll definitely air live next time. Today's episode, or rather this year's theme is inspired by the Bull of Induction of the Holy Fathers, which states, Spes non confunditi, which means hope does not disappoint. In today's program, I am not alone. We have a special guest that is going to help us understand the essence of hope in a biblical way. Father, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much, and good morning to all our viewers.
Thank you so much. Father, me and the viewers are actually wondering why is it called the Jubilee? Why do we celebrate the Jubilee?
Yeah, in the Catholic Church, Jubilee is a very important time, or let me say a Jubilee year. Is a very important moment when the Church asks pilgrims from all over the world to participate in acts of mercy, but also those who are able to go to Rome on these special pilgrimages. But most importantly, it's a time of renewal. Every 25 years now, the Pope declares a Jubilee year in which people participate in various acts of faith, acts of mercy, in order to renew themselves or their relationship with God. Particularly this year, we are talking about hope. It's a Jubilee year of hope. As we are pilgrims of faith, we are pilgrims on a journey. It's not a pilgrimage for its own sake. It is a pilgrimage of hope. The Pope thought it wise to give us this theme because of what is happening in the world today. There are a lot of experiences that have robbed people of their hope. A lot of people are desperate. And so it is important for us to bring back that hope. It is important for us to reflect on the importance of holding on to hope, because without hope, even faith is affected. So if people are desperate, they may even lose their faith in God, because they may now begin to get to other places that may even destroy their lives further. So it is important for us to talk about hope in this Jubilee year, so that we bring back what people are slowly losing. You see, there are a lot of we're just coming from, well, maybe COVID is still there, but largely we are coming from the COVID time when we lost a lot of people. And it was a moment of desperation. People didn't know if this thing was going to ever go away. Of course, COVID is still there. It's still there. We cannot say we are free of COVID. It is still there, but we can acknowledge the fact that it is not as bad as it was, 3-4 years ago. So we are coming from that terrible period where humanity had lost hope completely. Not only that, today we are talking about issues of climate change. These issues of climate change that are affecting not only ourselves, not only Zambia, but the whole world in many different ways. It is important for us to talk about hope in this Jubilee year, so that we can bring back what we are losing, or we might have lost. Now, this Jubilee year is not just something that popped up in the Pope's mind and he decided, let us have a Jubilee year. There is a background to it. Maybe we can also go into just briefly the background. We can go back to as far back as the 1300s, during the reign of Pope Boniface the VIII. is the first Pope to have declared a jubilee. By the way, the jubilee was proclaimed every 100 years. Now it is every 25 years. But it started as every 100 years with Pope Boniface VIII, who declared that in that year people could put themselves on a pilgrimage to Rome, to those holy places in Rome, but also people could participate in acts of mercy. That time the aspect of indulgences was quite strong. So the indulgences were part of the reason why people needed to participate in the pilgrimage. After Pope Boniface VIII came Pope Clement the sixth. There was a time that in the history of the church there's what they call the Avignon papacy. Now the Avignon papacy is when the Pope was exiled in France. Avignon is a place in France. So Pope Clement was exiled actually from Rome. He went to live as an exile in France. He was still Pope, but not in Rome anymore. It was a terrible time in the life of the church. Now from there he also declared a jubilee, and we're talking about the 1400s. So, but for him it was not 100 years anymore, because he thought it was too long a period to have this special year or special moment when people could reflect on their faith in a special way. So he brought down the 100 years to 50 years. He said we're going to be observing this jubilee every 50 years, and it was done. After him came Pope Paul II, who thought maybe 50 years is a bit too much. Why can't we have an extraordinary jubilee which should be celebrated after 33 years? The 3 years as a number had a significance of the whole life of Jesus on earth. So it was important for Pope Paul II that we celebrate the whole life of Jesus on earth. So he declared the extraordinary year of the life of Jesus, after 50 years, after 33 years. Now, that was not it. Later, a decision had to be made by the church again to say maybe we need to be celebrating this jubilee more often or more frequently. So from 33 years, it was declared that it's going to be a silver jubilee. So every 25 years. So from the 1500s, the church has always celebrated 25 years of a jubilee up to now, and this is what we are going to celebrate next year. If you remember, the last jubilee that we celebrated of 25 years was in 2000, declared by St. John Paul II. There was, though, after that, there was a special jubilee that was declared by Pope Francis. That was an extraordinary jubilee, which was in 2015. It was the Jubilee of the Year of Mercy. Now, after 25 years after 2000, the Pope Francis says, let us celebrate another Jubilee, ordinary Jubilee. Okay, the one that we celebrated in 2015 was extraordinary, about the mercy of God. Now we are going to celebrate the ordinary Jubilee year of hope. And like we have already said, we have to reflect on hope because of what is happening in the world today. Now, how is this going to be inaugurated? There is always a ritual that is done for us to mark, or for the church to mark the beginning of the holy year, of the Jubilee year. This time around, on the eve of Christmas, there in Rome, in St. Peter's Square, the Basilica of St. Peter, in the Vatican, the Pope is going to open what is called the Holy Doors. Now, these holy doors are doors that are opened only every 25 years. except in those few instances when we've had the extraordinary jubilees. But ordinarily, these doors are opened only every 25 years. And this is what the Pope is going to do on the eve of Christmas. So for 25 years, the doors are sealed. You know, they are sealed and the key is put well protected in a box, and it has to take someone to break that thing for the key to be removed from there, and then the door be opened. Of what significance? To mark the beginning of the year. So as the doors open, we are entering the new year with the experience of Christ as the gate. That you are going into the new year with Christ as the gate, passing through Christ and experiencing all the graces that Christ has for you and for me and for us. And this is what is going to happen on the eve of Christmas. Not only that, on the 29th of December, the Pope is going to open another set of doors, and this is going to be in the Lateran Basilica of St. John. So now, let me just try to break that down a bit. The Basilica of St. Peter in the Vatican is not the official cathedral of the Pope. The Pope, as Bishop of Rome, has a basilica outside the Vatican, which is St. John Basilica, the Lateran Basilica. And on the 29th of December, going just at the verge of going into the new year, he is now going to open the doors of his cathedral. And on that day, it is expected, I don't know what dioceses have prepared in our own country and elsewhere, but as guided, it is expected that on that day, as the Pope is opening the doors of his cathedral in Rome, the Lateran Basilica, bishops around the world are supposed to be also doing the same thing at the same time. Like I said, I don't know if dioceses have prepared something in those lines, but that is the guidance that we have from the Vatican. Then later, the Pope will also open other doors of the cathedrals and so on and so forth. So it's a special moment of reflecting, especially on the theme of hope.
Wow, beautiful. I hope you understand why we're celebrating the Jubilee year. I am your host, Grace Kasapato, and I'm joined with Father Arthur to help us understand more on the Jubilee year 2025. So, Father, just going into the topic of the day, which is the essence of hope. Yes, Father, how can you explain the essence of hope in a biblical way?
Yeah, so the essence of hope is actually a theme, let us call it, that we are drawing from the document that the Pope has given us. The document is hope does not disappoint. Yes. So space non-confunded. So that's the papal bull that we have been given to reflect on, especially as we get into the heart of the Holy Year. And from there, the Pope is talking about the essence of the significance of hope, and he draws the inspiration of that theme from Romans chapter 5, verse 1 to 5, where St. Paul is writing to the Romans about about the essence of hope, about the importance of having hope for every Christian community. Now, it's important for us to understand also the background of a bit of a background of the community that St. Paul is writing to. Yeah, at that time, Rome was a mixture of Jews and those that didn't believe in God, the Gentiles and all that. So there was danger that the Christian community could be swayed from the truth, from what is correct, from what is right, because of a mixture of cultures, mixture of beliefs, and so on and so forth. So Paul decides to write to the Romans, talking like in this case specifically talking to them about the aspect of hope. That yes, You could be in that context. You could be in that situation that threatens your faith. But remember that hope does not disappoint. You can go through a terrible experience yourself. You can you can come face to face with somebody that does not believe in the same thing that you believe in yourself. But remember that hope does not disappoint. And the Pope in the document is using the word anchor. That hope is like an anchor. Anchor. That thing, those who do fishing, know something about anchors. Those who have been to lakes and whatever. That thing that you throw exactly, so that it holds your boat from being swayed by the So the Pope is likening hope to that anchor. That even if you are in a troubled water or on a troubled lake, once you have that anchor, you throw it where it can go and hook. Then you know that the boat is not going to sink, or the boat is not going to be taken away by the waves. And that is what we're supposed to have as Christians. That anchor should always be in our hands. That whenever we see trouble, like whenever we see things like COVID, okay, you are passing through a moment of COVID, you're passing through a moment of climate change. Don't lose that anchor. Just throw it where it can anchor, so that it holds you. And that thing you throw there is what hope is. So from the biblical perspective, St. Paul is writing to the Romans to say, especially to the Roman Christian community, to say, yes, you could be in a situation that is threatening your faith, but remember to hold on to hope, because hope does not disappoint. And later in Romans chapter 8, Paul talks about that nothing can separate us from the love of God. You can pass through difficulties, etc., etc. But remember that nothing can ever separate you from. And once you remember that in itself is something that gives you hope. It is your anchor, and you are throwing it to somewhere where it can hook, so that it holds you. So the Jubilee is a very important year for Catholics and non-Catholics, because it appeals to every person. Every religion talks about hope. It is important that every person has hope, has that anchor, so that when they throw it, it hooks somewhere, and it holds them. Then nothing can ever separate them from the love of God.
Wow, that's an amazing explanation, Father. That just reminded me, Father. You talked about the Pope releasing a document, and on that document we are seeing a logo, where we're seeing different colors, rather we're seeing people there, we're seeing the cross there. Can you just try and explain more about the logo on the bill of induction?
There is. We've talked about the document, but there is also a logo.
Yes.
Okay. I hope our viewers are able to see it on the screen.
Yeah.
That logo has those simple images. It has people in different colors, and these people are holding each other. And then they are holding on to, at least they are facing the cross. Or holding on to the cross. And you have a crooked line, which is a symbol of a river or a sea or an ocean. Yeah. What exactly is this trying to communicate? The different colors of those people has its own significance. That we are people of different cultures and people of different colors. We are people of different backgrounds, but our being different does not mean that we should actually differ, that we should actually separate or divide. We can be different and still hold on to each other, because there is no hope if we're not holding hands. Hope is strengthened when we hold each other's hands during times of trouble. So the people that we see on the logo, the different colors, are the different people in the world. Some are from Asia, China, from America, from Africa, from Europe, from everywhere. But they are holding each other, meaning that hope can only be strengthened if we hold each other. Now, these people are not just holding each other. They are also facing, first of all, they're facing Jesus. Even before we talk about them holding Jesus, that represented by the cross, that is. So they are facing the cross, and that in itself is, it's not enough just to hold hands. It's not enough just to hold each other. What is important is now to have somewhere where to hook the anchor, where to throw the anchor so that it hooks there. And the anchor in this case is the cross. So the people are throwing that anchor to the cross so that it hooks there. And once it hooks there, then they are going to be strong together. And what is going to animate their strength is Jesus, where they look and where they hold on to. Now, there's also a lake, a river, something that symbolizes a river, a lake. In ancient times, especially during the time of the Jews, the lake was understood to be a place of evil, a place where, you remember in the Bible, Jesus casts out demons from this man, and these demons go into the pigs. And where do the pigs go? They go to the lake. They fall down the cliff into the river, because that is where evil belongs. That is where evil spirits are supposed to go. Remember, Jesus and the disciples are on the lake, and the lake is about to sink, and the storms. Because the lake is supposed to be a place of trouble. It's not a quiet place. It's not a place where you go and enjoy your life and all that. No, it's a place where you find all sorts of things that can even harm you. And this is where this group of people on the logo, this group of people is on that lake, but holding on to each other. Not only that, but also holding on to Jesus, represented by the cross. What does that mean? It means that no matter how much storms would rise, as long as you are holding on to each other, and as long as you're holding on to Jesus, those storms will not be enough to crush you, because you are strong. You are strong when you hold on to each other. You are stronger when you hold on to Jesus. So it is a logo that gives a lot of hope if you think about it. It gives hope not only to a Catholic like you and me, but everybody that is or seems to be losing their hope. Nothing is enough to crush you if you hold on to Jesus. Always look to the cross, and that is the message. Always look to the cross and ensure that you don't live like you exist alone. You exist with other people. It doesn't matter which race they are. They can be white, blue, green, whatever they are. The fact is, we exist with other people, and we cannot run away from that fact. And if we want to triumph over issues of wars, we have to triumph over issues of climate change, issues of COVID, issues of many other issues that trouble humanity, then we have to unite. We have to come together, sit on a round table, talk about those issues, and then look to Christ, who is going to, open our minds to find solutions to the problems that humanity is facing today. So that's a bit about the logo. I hope that was clear enough.
All right, thank you so much. If you are just joining us, you're watching the program dubbed The Pilgrims of Hope. If you can interact with us on YouTube as well as Facebook. Father, just to ask a little bit about hope in a midst of trials. How can one be able to put themselves together for them to, in fact, how can one be able to maintain the hope amidst trials?
It's not easy. It's not easy because when you are in the middle of things that are troubling you, you're vulnerable. You really don't know what to think, what to say, and so on and so forth. You only hope that during that time some miracle could come through, so that do you know why some people even begin to think of taking their own lives? It's because of that sense of vulnerability. Now, when we reflect on this theme, the Pilgrims of Hope, hope exists as a counter reaction to trouble. And I think this point also comes out quite clearly. Let me just read something. In the Space Non-Confunded, the Pope is talking about hope as a counter reaction to trouble. He says, hope dwells as the desire and expectation of things to come, despite our not knowing what the future brings. Not knowing what the future holds may bring about anxiety. And it is because of anxiety that hope exists as a counter reaction. So during that moment, that moment of vulnerability, the moment of trouble, in that moment, what you need is an anchor. It is hope as a counter reaction to what you are feeling, what you are going through. So it is important for every Christian or anybody that is going through a hard time to try even to hold on to the last thread of hope, because as they say, hope is the last thing to lose. Once you lose hope, then you have lost yourself forever. That's why, like I said, some people even entertain the idea of taking their own life because they can't hold on to the last thread of hope anymore. Now, what we are saying with the help of the document that we are reflecting on is that in that moment of vulnerability, we have to have something in our hands to still hold on to. That thing will have to be a counter reaction to what we are going through. And that is the same thing that is going to give us the courage that we need for us to go through that terrible experience. Once you lose that thing which you're supposed to hold on to, then it means you have lost yourself as well. And that is what we are supposed to avoid. I know that it is not easy. When you are in a situation of desperation, it is not easy even to hold on to that anchor, to that thread. It is not easy. It has to take a strong character, strong personality for one to tell themselves, okay, I'm going through this terrible thing. I'm depressed, yes, but hope does not disappoint.
All right, beautiful. Father, what words would you give to the people that are non-Catholics that would want to read this particular document? How best would you tell them to, what are the things that they can look out for when they come to read this particular document? Because you stated in your statement earlier to say it is not only for Catholics but also non-Catholics. What words do you have for them?
You see, when you talk about the question of hope, hope does not know religion. Hope is neutral. Hope touches everybody. Hope is not a Catholic concept. Hope is not a Jewish concept. It is not an SDA concept or Methodist concept. Hope is a concept of humanity, and that's what it is, a concept of humanity. Just like love, these are concepts of humanity, not religion. So when you come across a document that is talking about hope, read that document, because what you are looking for might just be found in that document. If I came across a document written by a papa, a pastor, or an elder from another church, and that document is talking about love, that document is talking about hope, I'm going to read that document, because these are concepts that do not know religion. These are concepts of humanity. Look at what is happening in the world today. Wars or countries rising against countries. Issues of climate change, like we have already mentioned. Economic wars. Diseases that we cannot really explain how they came about and how they can be eradicated, and so on and so forth. All these are things that are robbing humanity of hope. These are things that are, we can say, like when you think about this thing, but how did I find myself in this thing? How did we find ourselves in this thing? Because these are things that are affecting everybody, regardless of which church or denomination you belong to or you go to. These are things that affect you. Talk of climate change. Climate change is not only climate change because you are Catholic. Climate change is climate change because we are human. Because we are human being. Even the rich are affected by climate change. Even the poor, the poorest of the poor, everybody's affected by climate change. And when you think about all these calamities, what they are doing to humanity is that they are creating a void. They are creating an emptiness in humanity. An emptiness that is making humanity to wonder, are we going into extinction? Is humanity very soon coming to extinction? Or is there something that we can do as people so that we prevent that impending extinction, if that is what is going to happen? That's why the images that we see on the logo are important, because they help us to come together, regardless of what colors and what religion and what church we are. Those images help us to come together and talk about the problems that humanity is facing today in order to restore hope in humanity. I'm not going to say, no, since I'm a Jew, I'm not going to participate in that conversation of hope. Since I'm a watchtower, I'm not going to participate in how we can fight COVID. Since I am SDA, I'm not going to participate in how we can bring back hope in those that the people that are displaced by floods and so on and so forth. Since I'm Catholic, I'm not going to sit down with that person who goes to Bread of Life because we don't belong together. No, then it means we are missing the point. And the point we are missing in that is that regardless of all these things, we are united by one fact, that we are all human beings affected by the same things. So when you see a document like this, hope does not disappoint. It is a document that everybody has to read. It is a document that all people have to read. How do we as a Christian community define hope? How can we bring back hope in ourselves and in many of our brothers and sisters who are going through difficult times? These are things that the Pope has guided us on in this document. So I do, yes, encourage people, everybody, regardless of who they are, to just have a glimpse on that document. It's something that humanity needs. Hope does not disappoint.
Indeed, hope does not disappoint. Indeed, that brings us to where it says, divided we fall, united we stand.
Exactly.
As this document is for everyone and not only Catholics. Our dear viewers, you can get interactive with us on our social media platforms that are Facebook and YouTube. You can ask us questions, you can ask further questions if you need any clarity on anything, or you can bring forth your own, you can also bring on your own understanding of hope, so that we can share together with everyone else and then journey together as pilgrims of hope. Father, this reminds me.
Yes.
In your own, I would come to it as a personal question now. Mm-hmm. In your own a path of a religious father, you being a reverend, and how did hope really help you in your journey? Maybe there are viewers out there that would want to hear your own story about hope.
Do I have any story to share about hope? I don't know. It's a long story, but maybe it needs a program on its own. But what I can say is that in my own life, especially as a priest, I've been a priest for 12 years now. Of course, I've gone through certain experiences that kind of extinguished my faith, my hope. Okay, that kind of took away hope. The notable one is just in parts. The notable one is last year when I was locked up or somebody died. Okay, and I was locked up somewhere because somebody died. Okay, so this person died and I became a suspect, a prime suspect of that death. Okay. So now, when you think about that, even when the officer was reading the charge to me, I was like, is this really me, or there must be a mistake somewhere? Okay. So like I said, it's supposed to be a long story. Yeah. But yes, I was locked up for a few days because somebody died. A young boy died, unfortunately. And since I was in this parish where this boy was an altar boy, I was picked up, and because somebody mentioned my name, that I was connected to the death of that boy, and so on and so forth. Apparently the boy stole from me, and he confessed that yes, he did. We took him to his parents, and I'm trying to cut, taken to his parents, and then the parents are like, okay, so what happened? The boy explains what happened, and then he goes behind the sofa where he had hidden the money. He hands over half or part of the money to us, to me. Where is the other partner? He says, no, I wasn't alone, I was with another person. So we tell the parents, okay, when you find the other person and you've recovered the other money, the other portion of the money, then you can call us, then we can have it. And then this boy, you can just talk to him. He's a small boy, grade 7 grade. So he's a small boy. You can just talk to him. So we left, and just a few days later, what do I see? A knock on the door. Okay, the police in civil, but I could tell that these were police officers. Who else do I see? The father to the boy. So in my thinking, oh, maybe they found the other boy who took the other half of the money. Then so I'm told, could you accompany us to the police station? Okay, fine. We go to the police station, and what do I find there? A charge. So at that point, I don't even know somebody has died. Okay. So as the police is reading the charge, I'm just confused. I'm like, what is this? What is this person reading? So yes, the charge is read, and it comes to a point where names are mentioned, my name and the name of the boy, and then I'm like, the boy has died. How has he died? Then the officer says, yes, he has died, and according to the report that we have received, you are involved in the death. Oh, okay. Like anyway, so that is how now the story changes. And when you become a suspect of a murder case, you don't go home. Okay, they lock you up until the case is concluded, because there's no bail, there's no whatever those things they go. So yeah, sapato, chan, those kind of things. You do want to call somebody? Of course I do. I do want to call somebody. So I make phone calls, people to know that this is what is happening. So fast forward, that was like a Tuesday. On a Friday, that's when they were burying. So we had to wait for a postmortem. Okay, and the charge was that I beat up the boy, so he died of injuries, whatever. So yeah, fast forward, the postmortem is done, and then the results come out that the boy had taken some substance, killed himself, committed suicide. In short, they found these people take the doom or something. Yeah, and that is how the case was concluded. Now, in that whole period, do you know what was going on in my mind? It was total confusion. Okay, total confusion. You don't understand. You don't even know what you are doing in that place with many other people, junkies and all these. You don't know what is happening. You're just wondering what is this about. Yeah. Talk of hope. In that moment, hope is tested. Hope is properly tested. Yeah. So a bit. Yeah. That's my experience of hope. And yes, I had a moment of losing hope, but there was still a spark of hope, because I knew that this thing had nothing to do with me. Okay, clearly I knew that this thing had nothing to do with me. So that in itself gave me hope, gave me strength that this thing is not going anywhere. Because how can somebody just die like that? And how do I get involved in their death? Something like that. So that gave me a bit of hope. This thing is not going anywhere, and for sure it didn't go anywhere, because there was a mistake somewhere, and my name was mistakenly mentioned in the issue. So it's a bit of a sad story, but yeah.
Okay. What an experience you had there, Father. Indeed, hope is never disappoints in any situation.
Hope never disappoints, because actually it gives you strength to face a situation. When you just hold on to that, let me call it a thread of hope, okay? Not a whole rope of hope, but just even a thread. You hold on to that. That in itself gives you courage to face the situation. It never disappoints.
Wow. Our dear viewers, hope you have learned something about Father's story. In case you're going through a situation that you feel nobody can take you out of that situation, always have hope that Christ is indeed with us, and indeed that particular problem will end, because each and every problem that has a beginning definitely it has an ending. At this particular time, we would like to check on the comments, if we have any comments on social media, or so that we move together with the viewers. Apparently we do not have any comments today. Hope next time, our dear viewers, you will be with us, journey with us, as we are pilgrims of hope. On today's program, I have been your host, Grace Kasapato, and joined by Father Arthur as our guest on this program. Join us next time on the same time, same dates. For now, it's bye.